So we'll continue on with Michelangelo. So here we have Michelangelo's most famous painting, which is the ceiling and the back wall, of the Sistine Chapel, which is in the Vatican in Rome. So he is painting the ceiling while Raphael was painting the paintings that I just showed you, the fresco paintings. The one I focused in on was the School of Athens. So Michelangelo is asked to come to Rome by the Pope to paint the ceiling. He didn't actually like painting, so he didn't really want to do it, but he couldn't say no. It's the Pope. So he goes to the Vatican and he ends up painting the ceiling. So the ceiling frescoes he paints between 1481 and 1483. These are the wall frescoes first. And the ceiling between 1508 and 1512, this is when Raphael is painting the School of Athens. And then he thinks he's all done with that, and then he gets called back again to paint this back wall between the years of 1536 and 1541. So the ceiling was probably the most difficult because he had to have a scaffolding that was built, and he didn't lay on his back, but he had to have his arm and neck craned back, leaning back to paint. And he did this the entire time he was painting the ceiling. And so by the time he finished it, he had permanent back problems from it that he really blamed the church for the rest of his life. So here we are, if we were standing below it looking up, and it is quite an amazing sight. And the one thing might be a little hard, but the next image I'll show you, you'll see that you have to continuously turn yourself in a circle to orientate yourself correctly to the images above. So it's just really an amazing piece of art, and it has all images, biblical images from the Bible. This is not molding. This is painted. Everything is painted. So here we have probably the most famous panel, the one that is here, which is God giving life to Adam. So it's the creation of Adam. So God reaches out to touch Adam and give him life. He has these other people behind him that are waiting to be born. Here's Eve. She's waiting to be born next. And we can see really from this how, you look at it from this direction, you have to turn yourself to look at it from this direction, or turn yourself to look at it correctly from this direction. And notice that the way Michelangelo creates his figures, paints his figures, they're fairly muscular in comparison to somebody like Raphael. So as I explained, he gets called back. He didn't want to do it. He gets called back to the Sistine Chapel to paint the wall behind the altar. So he paints the scene of the Last Judgment. Very typical scene to paint. This room, of course, it's in what's considered the Vatican Museum. So if you ever get to go to the Vatican, you get to go through the Sistine Chapel. But it's still used today. So if you'll see, if a pope dies and they elect a new pope, the cardinals come together and the bishops and they elect a pope, and the new pope is announced from this altar. So you do, and there's some other reasons why this room is used, but you do occasionally see this room on the news when it's something really important within the Vatican that's happening. So here we have Jesus and Mary, and they're judging people whether or not they're going to go to heaven or they're going to hell. Here we have the people that are being lifted up out of the graves, and they're going to be judged, and they're the lucky ones. They're getting to go to heaven. Then we have people on this side who are unlucky. They did not lead a virtuous life. They did things that were not good, and they're being thrown down here into the Shannon's boat. This figure is Shannon. And this is the river Styx. And he is like going to hit them with this paddle. And they're going to go down into the depths of hell for eternity to be tortured. And I have a really good video up on this, so I would like you to watch it because it's a little hard for me to show you these things because I can't really zoom in. I can't zoom in the way the video zooms in. So here we have this really strong diagonal line, though, that runs through these figures that the video points out. That's really important. And we have this saint, I forget his name, but he was killed. All the saints, most of them were martyred, meaning they were like tortured to death. A lot of the saints were. So he was actually, it was called to be flayed, which is they literally cut your skin off of you while you were still alive. I can't imagine how painful that is. But so he holds this skin here, indicating the way he was martyred. But the face on this is actually Michelangelo's face. It's a self-portrait. And then this diagonal line goes down into what would become hell. So we have to wonder, you know, it looks like he could be falling into the boat of Shannon and go into hell. So why? Why was it that he's depicted this way? And the video doesn't go into this, but it's believed that at this point he had had it with the church. The church had crippled him in his eyes because he had back problems from painting the Sistine Chapel. He didn't want to do this. He's being forced to do it because it's the church. So within Italy at this time period, there was a secret society of Protestants. So we know the Protestant religion. Well, at that time period, if you were in Rome, you needed to be Catholic. Otherwise, you're being thrown in jail. Protestants weren't allowed. So therefore, he was in the secret society. And it really is believed that he had converted at this time period. And there's writings about this that kind of prove this is most likely what had happened. And so here he is maybe questioning himself. Well, now he is a Protestant and not a Catholic. And is he going to go to hell for this? Not sure. So he's showing himself here like this. He then goes on to also do architecture, as I had said earlier. So here we have St. Peter's Basilica, which is in the this is the view from the southwest Vatican, Rome. And you'll note the date, 1546 to 1564. This is right before he dies that he creates this. So we have this really beautiful dome in this building. And he has more of a square plan to the dome and to the building than what we've seen before. So he's really playing with these shapes of this building in a new way.